While Hollywood was busy dazzling audiences with its magic, some actresses were stealing the show off-screen. With a look, a whisper, or a touch, these women left men spellbound and the world talking.
Oh. I thought you were someone else.
Their beauty was mesmerizing, their charm unstoppable, and their scandals legendary. But beneath the glamour lay stories of power, seduction, and ambition that shook Hollywood to its core. Join us as we dive into the lives of 20 dangerous seductresses who turned the silver screen into their playground and left a legacy no one could ignore. Veronica Lake. Veronica Lake was one of Hollywood's most captivating stars of the 1940s. Known for her signature peekaboo hairstyle and femme fatale roles in film noir, she exuded a mysterious allure that kept audiences hooked. But her life off-screen was just as dramatic as her performances. Lake's love life was a whirlwind. She was romantically involved with some of the most famous and wealthy men of her time, including billionaire Howard Hughes, Greek shipping magnate Aristotle Onassis, and legendary actor Marlon Brando. But her charm didn't stop there. She also had romances with Tommy Manville and director Gene Negulesco. Lake's personal relationships reflected her bold and unpredictable nature, which only added to her enigmatic appeal. She was married 4 times, including to director André de Toth, with whom she had 2 children. Her other marriages, to Robert Carlton Monroe and Joseph Allen McCarthy, were equally turbulent. Despite her glamorous image, Lake often poked fun at herself. She once described her acting talent as so minimal that you could put it in your left eye and still not suffer impaired vision. She also humorously called herself a sex zombie, dismissing the sex goddess label Hollywood tried to pin on her. Her career soared in the early 1940s with hits like The Blue Dahlia and Sullivan's Travels, but by the 1950s her fame had faded. Despite her struggles, Lake's influence remains. She inspired characters like Jessica Rabbit and continues to be remembered for her smoldering beauty and captivating persona. She died young at 50, Zsa Zsa Gabor. Zsa Zsa Gabor was the very definition of glamour and excess. Born in Budapest in 1917, she had a life that could rival any Hollywood script. Known for her beauty, charm, and sharp wit, Zsa Zsa became a household name not just for her acting, but for her lavish lifestyle and many marriages. She was married 9 times, each relationship as dramatic as the last. Her second husband was hotel magnate Conrad Hilton, making her part of one of the wealthiest families in America. However, their marriage was rocky, and Zsa Zsa later claimed their union was passionless. After divorcing Hilton, she married actor George Sanders. Though their marriage ended in divorce, they remained friends, and years later she convinced him to marry her sister Magda to keep him in the family. Zsa Zsa's love life wasn't just about her marriages. She famously claimed to have had an affair with Turkish President Mustafa Kemal Atatürk, calling him the love of her life. She was also romantically linked to Dominican playboy Porfirio Rubirosa and Ramfis Trujillo, the son of a dictator. Her humor and bold personality often landed her in the spotlight. When asked how many husbands she'd had, she famously quipped, "You mean apart from my own?" But her life wasn't without controversy. In 1989, she was arrested for slapping a police officer, an incident that cemented her as a pop culture icon. Zsa Zsa's final marriage was to Friedrich von Anhalt, a self-proclaimed prince. They stayed together until her death in 2016 at the age of 99. Clara Bow. Clara Bow was a phenomenon more than she was a movie star. Dubbed the It Girl after her breakout role in It, 1927, she embodied the flapper lifestyle that defined the Roaring Twenties. With her heart-shaped face, fiery red hair, and flirtatious charm, she captured hearts on and off the screen. Audiences adored her carefree energy, and her fame skyrocketed. But Clara wasn't just acting. She lived the life her movies portrayed. Off-screen, Clara's personal life became as legendary as her films. She was bold, daring, and unapologetically herself. Clara was romantically linked to some of Hollywood's biggest names like Gary Cooper and Gilbert Roland, but those weren't just casual flings. Clara called these relationships engagements, blending her belief in love with her whirlwind romances. However, fame came with a price. Clara's private life was an open target for gossip. One of the wildest stories claimed she had been involved with the entire USC football team, including a young John Wayne. While there's no proof of this, rumors spread like wildfire feeding her bad girl image. Clara's struggles went beyond the tabloids. She faced betrayal, including a secretary who stole her personal records and tried to blackmail her. The constant stress, combined with her battles with mental health, forced her to retire at just 28. Barbara Lamar. Barbara Lamar was the ultimate Hollywood seductress of the silent film era. Known as the girl who was too beautiful, her stunning looks and exotic charm captivated audiences in the 1920s. She starred in 27 films, including hits like The Prisoner of Zenda and The Eternal City. Her acting talent and magnetic presence on screen made her one of the most desirable stars of her time. Off-screen, Barbara lived a wild and scandalous life. She famously said she only needed 2 hours of sleep a night because she had better things to do. And those better things often involved her love life. Barbara wasn't shy about her relationships and took lovers like picking roses, claiming to enjoy life to the fullest. Her string of romances included a mix of actors, dancers, and wealthy men. Her personal life was a whirlwind of drama and heartbreak. Married 4 times, her first husband turned out to be a bigamist who died in jail. Another was an alcoholic gambler. Even during her final marriage to actor Jack Dougherty, Barbara had a secret, a son she gave birth to in 1922. The boy's father was never named, and Barbara kept his existence hidden until her death. Barbara's hard-living lifestyle eventually caught up with her. Known for her late-night partying, she fell ill and died at just 29. Louise Brooks. Known for her iconic bob haircut and magnetic presence, Louise Brooks became a symbol of 1920s flapper culture. Her bold personality and uninhibited lifestyle set her apart from other actresses of her time. But did you know that Louise's personal life was as dramatic as her on-screen roles? She was married twice, but neither marriage lasted long. Her first husband, director Eddie Sutherland, couldn't keep up with her wild ways. Louise left him after falling for George Preston Marshall, the owner of the Washington Redskins. But that romance didn't last either. She moved on to marry someone else, only to divorce again 6 months later. Louise wasn't one to settle down. She had numerous love affairs, including a passionate fling with Charlie Chaplin when she was just 18. She also had an on-and-off relationship with producer Walter Wanger, despite him being married. Speaking of which, Louise's daring attitude even led to a one-night stand with Greta Garbo, which became one of Hollywood's most whispered-about secrets. But her wild lifestyle eventually took a toll on her career. By the time she was 26, Louise was no longer a working actress. Gossip and scandals followed her everywhere, including false rumors of venereal disease spread by a stuntman she had a brief fling with. When Hollywood turned its back on her, Louise left the industry. Tallulah Bankhead. Known for her smoky voice, sharp wit, and unapologetic lifestyle, Tallulah Bankhead became a sex symbol and a force to be reckoned with in Hollywood and on Broadway. Tallulah wasn't just famous for her talent. She was infamous for her wild parties, outrageous comments, and countless romantic conquests. Bankhead claimed to have had over 500 lovers, including both men and women, though she was rarely tied down for long. One of her most talked-about relationships was with actor John Emery, whom she married casually after meeting him during a summer theater circuit. Emery bore a resemblance to the legendary John Barrymore, whom Tallulah famously admired. She once said she would only sleep with men hung like Barrymore, and she often bragged about her husband's physical attributes in her typical bold style. Tallulah's personality shone brightest at her lavish parties, where she entertained guests with her sharp humor and unpredictable antics. One of her favorite party tricks was to dramatically reveal her sleeping husband to guests, showcasing her fearless sense of humor and lack of inhibitions. Despite her wild reputation, Bankhead was a gifted actress. She starred in memorable plays like The Little Foxes and movies like Alfred Hitchcock's Lifeboat. She lived life her way, boldly, without apologies. Lauren Bacall. Lauren Bacall was a Hollywood legend, known for her smoky voice, piercing eyes, and undeniable charm. Her on-screen confidence and off-screen allure made her unforgettable. Bacall's career soared in the 1940s, but her personal life was just as captivating as her iconic roles. Bacall's most famous romance was with Humphrey Bogart, her co-star in To Have and Have Not. Their on-set chemistry turned into a real-life love affair, despite Bogart being married at the time. They tied the knot in 1945, becoming one of Hollywood's most celebrated couples. Bacall and Bogart had 2 children and remained together until his death in 1957. Their love story was the epitome of old Hollywood glamour, but it wasn't without its challenges, including the public scrutiny of their early affair. After Bogart's passing, Bacall found herself in another high-profile relationship with Frank Sinatra. Their romance was fiery and short-lived, ending abruptly after their engagement news leaked, which was a betrayal Sinatra never forgave. Bacall's second marriage was to actor Jason Robards. They shared a son, but their relationship crumbled due to Robards' struggles with alcohol. Despite the heartbreak, Bacall continued to captivate audiences, both on and off the screen. She wasn't just a star. Bacall was a symbol of independence and resilience. She reportedly had other love affairs, including one with a British writer she described as more than love. Greta Garbo. Greta Garbo was known for her beauty, talent, and private nature that left an unforgettable mark on the film industry. But more than that, she was a mystery. She starred in nearly 30 movies between 1926 and 1941, with classics like Grand Hotel and Anna Karenina. But it wasn't just her acting that kept people talking. It was her personal life. Garbo lived on her own terms. She never married but had a long list of lovers, including both men and women. She famously had an on-again, off-again relationship with Cecil Beaton, a fashion photographer who claimed he was one of the few people to bring her physical satisfaction. Garbo's charm was magnetic, but she also had a habit of moving on quickly. Actor Gilbert Roland recalled how Garbo seduced him before he left for World War II, only to ignore his calls when he returned. Her rumored relationships extended beyond Hollywood. She reportedly had a fling with author Eric Maria Remarque and a complex friendship with poet Mercedes de Acosta, who was madly in love with her. Despite their bond, Garbo eventually distanced herself, as she often did with people who got too close. On screen, Garbo's chemistry with co-star John Gilbert in Flesh and the Devil was so intense that even the crew felt uncomfortable watching them. Off-screen, their love story was just as fiery, though she refused his marriage proposals. Garbo's decision to leave Hollywood at the height of her fame only deepened her mystique. She spent her later years in New York City, living a quiet life away from the spotlight. But even in her reclusive years, Greta Garbo remained a symbol of allure, independence, and mystery. Jean Harlow. Jean Harlow, known as the Blonde Bombshell, was one of the most glamorous and provocative stars of Hollywood's golden age. With her platinum blonde hair and dazzling smile, she became an icon of beauty and sensuality. But beneath her glittering career lay a life filled with scandal, heartbreak, and mystery. Harlow's love life was as dramatic as her on-screen roles. She married 3 times, with each relationship bringing its own share of controversy. Her first marriage to businessman Charles McGrew ended in divorce as her star began to rise. Her second husband, producer Paul Byrne, died under suspicious circumstances just 2 months after their wedding. His death, ruled a suicide, became a major Hollywood scandal, with rumors suggesting foul play or hidden secrets in their marriage. Harlow later became engaged to actor William Powell, with whom she shared a deep connection. However, the couple never made it down the aisle due to her untimely death. Alongside her relationships, Harlow was rumored to have had numerous affairs, adding to her reputation as a seductive and daring star. Despite her fame, Harlow's life was cut tragically short. She died at just 26 years old from kidney failure, leaving fans in the film industry in shock. Her death marked the end of a career that had already made her a legend. Hedy Lamarr. Hedy Lamarr was a genius who lived an extraordinary life. Known as the most beautiful woman in the world, Lamarr dazzled audiences with her exotic looks and magnetic presence in films like Ecstasy and Boomtown. But her life off-screen was even more intriguing. Lamarr's personal life was as glamorous as it was complicated. She married 6 times, starting with Friedrich Mandl, a wealthy Austrian arms dealer. Their marriage was controlling, and Hedy eventually fled to escape his grip. Her later husbands included a screenwriter, an actor, a Texas oil tycoon, and even her divorce lawyer. Despite her multiple marriages, Lamar was fiercely independent and had several high-profile affairs. Her relationship with Howard Hughes, the aviation tycoon, stood out. Hughes admired her beauty and intellect, even encouraging her interest in invention. Hetty wasn't just a seductress, she was a brilliant mind. During World War II, she co-invented a frequency-hopping technology to make radio-controlled torpedoes more secure. This invention, though ignored in her time, later became the basis for technologies like Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. While Hollywood focused on her looks, Hetty quietly changed the world with her innovation. Despite her achievements, Lamar faced challenges. Her scandalous role in Ecstasy, featuring one of the first on-screen orgasms, shocked audiences and added to her reputation as a bold, sensual figure. Jayne Mansfield. Jayne Mansfield was one of the most unforgettable stars in Hollywood history. Known for her striking beauty, daring outfits, and larger-than-life personality, she became a symbol of the glitz and scandal of the entertainment world. Standing alongside Mae West as a queen of Hollywood's good times, Jayne lived for the spotlight and didn't shy away from controversy. Her love life was as bold as her career. Jayne was married 3 times and had 5 children, including actress Mariska Hargitay. Her first marriage was to Paul Mansfield, with whom she had a daughter, but they divorced early in her career. Her second husband, Mickey Hargitay, was a bodybuilder and former Mr. Universe. The pair became a glamorous power couple of the 1950s. After they split, Jayne married director Matt Cimber, though that marriage also ended in divorce. But did you know that Jayne's romantic escapades didn't end with her marriages? She was rumored to have had numerous affairs with some of the most powerful and famous men of her time, including President John F. Kennedy. But her most talked-about connection was with Anton LaVey, the founder of the Church of Satan. Though LaVey claimed they had an affair, Jayne denied it and reportedly mocked him by making teasing phone calls while her friends listened. After her death, LaVey alleged that her fatal car accident was caused by a curse he had placed on her boyfriend, Sam Brody. Jayne's career wasn't just about scandal. She shined in films like The Girl Can't Help It and Will Success Spoil Rock Hunter? Her home, famously called the Pink Palace, became a Hollywood hotspot. Despite her untimely death at just 34, Jayne Mansfield remains a true Hollywood icon who lived life to the fullest. Elizabeth Taylor. Elizabeth Taylor was a master of seduction and drama, both on and off the screen. Known for her striking violet eyes and captivating presence, she starred in some of the greatest films of her time, like Cleopatra and Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf? But it wasn't just her acting that kept her in the headlines. It was her love life. Taylor was married an astonishing 8 times to 7 different men. Her most controversial romance was with singer Eddie Fisher. Fisher was married to Taylor's best friend Debbie Reynolds when he began his affair with Elizabeth. The scandal shocked Hollywood, but Taylor didn't seem to care. She and Fisher married in 1959, but their relationship didn't last. Years later, Taylor and Reynolds made amends and became friends again. But perhaps her most famous and passionate love was actor Richard Burton, whom she married twice. Their relationship was fiery, full of love and arguments. Together, they were Hollywood's ultimate power couple, starring in 11 films together, including Cleopatra, where their romance began. Burton showered Taylor with extravagant gifts, including the legendary 69-carat Taylor Burton diamond. Taylor's final marriage was to construction worker Larry Fortensky, whom she married in 1991. After their divorce in 1996, she decided to leave romance behind and stayed single for the rest of her life. Daisy and Violet Hilton. Daisy and Violet Hilton were conjoined twins who captivated audiences during the 1920s and 1930s. Known for their beauty and charm, they rose to fame in vaudeville and starred in films like Freaks and Chained for Life. Despite the challenges of their condition, the twins lived vibrant and adventurous lives. Speaking of which, the Hilton sisters weren't shy about embracing their fame. They attended glamorous parties, had numerous love affairs, and indulged in the hedonistic lifestyle of Hollywood's elite. Their first known affair was with a married man, whose wife even named them in her divorce case. Daisy later tried to marry musician Jack Lewis, but the union was denied by 21 states due to laws that labeled it bigamy, as Violet would have been legally connected to the marriage, too. The twins were remarkably resilient. Harry Houdini himself taught them how to mentally tune each other out, giving them some privacy, even in the most intimate moments. This skill proved essential as they navigated relationships and personal experiences, often in the public eye. Unfortunately, their fame didn't last. As they grew older, their appeal in show business faded, and they faced financial struggles. The glamorous life they once knew was replaced by poverty. In their later years, they worked at a grocery store to make ends meet. The Hilton sisters passed away tragically in 1969. Marilyn Monroe. Marilyn Monroe was the ultimate Hollywood icon. Her beauty, charm, and vulnerability made her unforgettable. But behind the glamorous image was a complicated and often troubled personal life. Not only was Marilyn a star, she was a woman who lived a life full of passion, mystery, and heartbreak. Marilyn had many high-profile relationships, and her love life became as famous as her films. She was married 3 times, first to James Dougherty when she was just 16. After that, she married baseball legend Joe DiMaggio, but their marriage was short-lived due to his jealousy over her fame. Her third marriage was to playwright Arthur Miller, a union that combined her love for art and intellect, but it also ended in divorce. Her rumored affairs were just as sensational. Stories of her relationships with President John F. Kennedy and his brother Robert Kennedy have fueled speculation for decades. Marilyn was often linked to powerful and influential men, adding layers of intrigue to her already complex life. Despite her fame, Marilyn struggled with feelings of loneliness and insecurity. She battled with mental health issues and a dependence on prescription drugs, which ultimately led to her tragic death at just 36 years old. Diana Dors. Diana Dors was Britain's answer to Marilyn Monroe, a blonde bombshell with a flair for drama, scandal, and indulgence. Known for her roles in low-budget films and her extravagant lifestyle, she became a cult figure in the 1950s and 1960s. But it was her wild personal life that truly cemented her reputation as one of Hollywood's most notorious seductresses. Dors married 3 times, and each relationship had its share of drama. Her first husband was Dennis Hamilton, a shady character who managed her career but often caused more harm than good. Her second marriage to actor Richard Dawson ended in divorce, but the two remained friends. Finally, she found stability with her third husband, actor Alan Lake, although their relationship was far from ordinary. Diana was known for hosting outrageous parties at her mansion, Orchard Manor in Berkshire. Now, these weren't just any parties, they were infamous sex parties where anything seemed to go. Hidden cameras in her home reportedly captured unsuspecting couples in intimate moments, and the footage was sometimes shown to amused guests. Her lifestyle was so wild that even the Archbishop of Canterbury called her a wayward hussy. Despite her reputation for decadence, Dors was also a talented actress and singer. She worked hard to maintain her stardom, appearing in films like Yield to the Night and The Unholy Wife. But as the years went on, her fame faded, and her lavish lifestyle took its toll. Diana Dors passed away in 1984 at just 52. Bette Davis. Bette Davis was a Hollywood legend known for her intense performances and equally intense personality. She was a powerhouse who demanded respect in an era when women often had to fight for their place in the industry. Her sharp wit and bold attitude made her both loved and feared. Davis had a stormy love life that matched her on-screen drama. She married 4 times, with each relationship ending in chaos or heartbreak. Her first marriage to band leader Harmon Nelson ended after he struggled to cope with her growing fame. Her second husband, Arthur Farnsworth, tragically passed away just 3 years into their marriage. Her third and fourth marriages to artist William Grant Sherry and actor Gary Merrill were plagued by infidelity and fiery arguments. Despite her turbulent marriages, Davis didn't shy away from love. She had numerous rumored affairs with co-stars, adding fuel to her already larger-than-life reputation. Her intense affair with actor Howard Hughes was one of Hollywood's worst-kept secrets, and her flirtations with other leading men only added to her allure. But Davis was more than her romantic escapades. She was fiercely dedicated to her craft, earning 10 Academy Award nominations and 2 wins. Her roles in All About Eve and Whatever Happened to Baby Jane are still celebrated as masterpieces. She often said, "I'd rather lose a good part than play a bad one," showing her unwavering commitment to quality. Gloria Swanson. Gloria Swanson was a true icon of extravagance and drama. Known for her stunning beauty and commanding presence, Swanson lit up the screen in films like Sunset Boulevard and became one of the biggest stars of the 1920s. But her personal life was just as fascinating as her movies. Swanson's love life was a whirlwind of marriages and affairs. She married 6 times, starting with actor Wallace Beery when she was just 17. That marriage quickly turned into a nightmare, ending after she suffered a traumatic miscarriage. Her second husband, Herbert Somborn, accused her of infidelity with 13 men, including legendary director Cecil B. DeMille. Though the accusations were sensationalized, they added to her image as a glamorous and scandalous figure. Her third marriage to Henri de la Falaise, a French marquis, gave her the title of Marquise, but it wasn't enough to keep them together. During this time, she also had a very public affair with Joseph P. Kennedy Sr., the father of future President John F. Kennedy. Kennedy managed her finances, but left her after the failure of Queen Kelly, a disastrous film project. Swanson's later marriages included relationships with a gigolo, a wealthy broker, and finally, writer William Dufty, with whom she shared a passion for health and nutrition. Despite her turbulent love life, Swanson remained unapologetically herself, living in luxury and embracing her role as Hollywood royalty. Her life was as dramatic as any of her films, making her a true legend. Lupe Velez. Often called the Mexican Spitfire, Lupe Velez was a star who burned brightly and lived boldly. Known for her fiery personality and fearless attitude, she was a trailblazer for Latina actresses in Hollywood. With her striking looks and lively spirit, Lupe became a magnet for attention, both on and off the screen. Speaking of which, Lupe's love life was just as dramatic as her career. Her most famous relationship was with actor Gary Cooper, whom she called the love of her life. Their romance was passionate but filled with jealousy. Lupe was known for her fiery temper, and she often accused Cooper of cheating. Rumors claimed she even caused a scene at social gatherings, sniffing his clothes for signs of other lovers. Their relationship eventually ended, leaving Lupe heartbroken. Velez was rumored to have had hundreds of lovers, including actors, musicians, and high-profile figures. While some stories about her wild antics may have been exaggerated, Lupe was not shy about feeding the gossip. She was said to enjoy shocking people with her behavior, like lifting her dress in public to reveal she wasn't wearing underwear. Whether true or not, these stories added to her larger-than-life reputation. Despite her bold persona, Lupe's life ended tragically. She died at just 36 years old, and myths about her death have overshadowed her career. Vivien Leigh. Vivien Leigh is remembered as one of Hollywood's greatest stars, known for her unforgettable roles as Scarlett O'Hara in Gone with the Wind and Blanche DuBois in A Streetcar Named Desire. But behind her stunning beauty and talent was a complicated and intense personal life. Vivien's ambition knew no bounds. She first saw Laurence Olivier perform in a play and immediately declared, "That's the man I'm going to marry." The only problem? Both of them were already married. Vivien was undeterred. She pursued Olivier relentlessly, even following him and his pregnant wife Jill Esmond to Capri, where the two began an affair. Eventually, Olivier left his wife, and the couple married in 1940, becoming one of the most famous pairs in theater and film. Their relationship was fiery and passionate, but far from perfect. Vivien's struggles with bipolar disorder often put a strain on their marriage. Her mood swings and unpredictable behavior were challenging for Olivier, though he remained devoted to her for many years. Their intense connection translated to their work, and they often performed together, creating magic on stage and screen. Vivien's beauty and charisma also made her a captivating figure off-screen. While her marriage to Olivier was her most famous relationship, rumors swirled about her other romantic entanglements. Her charm and allure were impossible to ignore, but her personal life was marked by turmoil and heartache. Marlene Dietrich. Known for her magnetic charm and stunning beauty, Marlene Dietrich was a symbol of rebellion, allure, and sophistication. She captivated audiences with her performances in films like The Blue Angel and Morocco. But her personal life was just as fascinating as her on-screen roles. Dietrich was famously open about her bisexuality, something that was incredibly daring for her time. She had relationships with both men and women, refusing to conform to societal expectations. Her lovers included famous names like actors John Gilbert and Douglas Fairbanks Jr. and writers like Eric Maria Remarque. She also had relationships with women, including fellow actress Greta Garbo, though their rumored affair remains a subject of speculation. One of her most famous affairs was with French actor Jean Gabin. Their romance began during World War II and lasted for several years. Gabin reportedly adored Dietrich's fiery personality and strong will, but their relationship eventually ended due to their clashing tempers. Dietrich wasn't just bold in her love life, she was fearless in her actions. During World War II, she performed for Allied troops, earning their admiration and risking her life to boost morale. She also famously renounced her German citizenship in protest against the Nazi regime, making her a symbol of resistance. What do you think about these scandalous flings and the seductive power these actresses held? Were they simply living their lives, or did they take things too far? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more incredible stories from Hollywood's fascinating history. See you next time.